Fuck going on, y'all? This is the 13th episode. It is the 2027 first half and draft. We are 10 games into the year, 4-6, with an even run differential, though. This team just loves starting off slow, at least slow-ish. We had one pretty absurd game. It was this one against Seattle, where we had a 3-run bottom of the ninth, including a 2-run walk-off home run for Nolan Shanuel, which was his second as a White Sox off of nobody but Andres Munoz, although he is less good versus lefties than righties, but still. That is the situation thus far. The team is doing whatever. It's 10 games into the year. I'm not reading too much into it one way or the other. The draft pool was just revealed. There is a absurd-looking pitcher and a pretty good-looking first baseman. That's the two guys I gleaned being pretty good. But yeah, we are 10 games in. Let's see if we can beat St. Louis in Game 11. It is Kirby, and we lose 3-2. That is a shame. Ooh, man, wow. That big international free agent that the Angels signed out of England, Harrison Bamra, is out for the year, as there's a loud noise in the background, as I'm sorry. Someone's taking their garbage bins back to their house on this fine Tuesday morning. Bamra is out for the year with a ruptured UCL. That is unfortunate for him. I'm going to let this guy do his garbage, and I will catch you when anything else happens. We are here at May 1st. It is the first player development update and the first round of Players of the Month. I would be shocked if Colson Montgomery is not the AL Batter of the Month. He was bonkers in April as we finished 14-11, as you can see. And he was. Luis Reyes in our high A system threw a no-hitter in 5 innings. Great. Player development update sees Herrera's control go up. Anything else really of note here? Doesn't look to be. You can see Colson hit 330 with 13 home runs in April. He's OPSing 1.279. Just had a 6 homers in 7 games stretch here. And then, of course, the game after, he had 2 walks and 2 doubles. So he's OPSing almost 1.3 without a high BABIP. He's been unbelievable to start this year. And is the main catalyst as to why we're 14-11 with a 5th in runs scored. Louis Bob has been kind of whatever, to be honest. Soto is getting on base 48% of the time in front of Colson Montgomery, who's on pace for just 188 RBIs. Shanuel has been good. Ke'Bryan has been good. Zavala has been great, but he's getting super lucky. Noah Miller has been what I expected of him, around 80 OPS plus with a couple, 1.5, 2 WAR season. Trevino has been brutal, but again, we knew that was going to happen, and DeRazio was kind of there to hit, and he's been all right. And then Terang has been bad. Pitching-wise, Kirby's been amazing, although he is not really striking many folks out. Jeffrey Springs has been a little disappointing. Herrera, as mentioned, has been pretty good. Mastrini's been good, and Kyle Hurt's been fine. Let's look at the other batters of the month and awards and such. Shohei is your NL batter of the month, also OPSing north of 1,200. Max Fried on the Astros, if you'll recall, he signed there last offseason, is your AL pitcher of the month. Joe Musgrove is the NL pitcher of the month. Wow, ERA is under 1. That's pretty good. Rookies are Max Clark, who is turning into a star, and Ethan Salas, who also is turning into a star. Besides that, that is the update here. We are 14-11, 1.5 games back of the Minnesota Twins. Offense has been good. Pitching has been good. Defense has been good. We're going to keep marching along. I'm bringing it back one day later to highlight a crazy game that just happened. 14-12 victory for your White Sox over the division-leading Twins. We're now only a half game behind them. And once again, the highlighted player here is Colson Montgomery, who went 2 for 2 with a triple, a single, and 2 walks, 2 ribbies, and 3 runs. I couldn't even imagine owning this guy in fantasy right now. He has been bonkers. OPS north of 1,300. He's on pace for 13.7 WAR. But, this entire game is pretty crazy. Most of the lineup had multiple hits. Noah Miller is now hitting north of 300 after back-to-back 4-hit games. As look at our last 4 games that he's played in, at least. 9, 16, 11, and 14 runs we've scored. The boys are on absolute fire. George Kirby, hilarious pitching line. 6 2/3, 6 earned runs, 4 homers, but he gets the win. Sure. The bullpen was bad. Crochet gets the save. He has been both crazy and whatever. 16.6 K per 9, but a 5.5 ERA, although you can tell he's getting super unlucky based on his FIP being south of 3. Also of note is that where is he? Yes, I claimed Armando Cruz on waivers from the Nationals, who's a great defensive shortstop. We're putting him through our own waivers. Hopefully he'll play in our minor league system. But yeah, we are on fire right now. You're probably sick of me coming back to you 3 days in a row in May, but I want to highlight again Colson Montgomery, who won Player of the Week, going at 13 for 18 for a 722 average, driving in 12 and scoring 14. That's helped by, in this loss, 9-7 to the Twins. Colson Montgomery went 3 for 4 with 2 homers and a double and 2 walks. I don't even have any superlatives to say for this guy anymore. His OPS is above 1,400. We're talking Barry Bonds territory. Yeah, it's over a 27-game sample, but like that is just bonkers. I can't even see a world his OPS finishes the season under 950 at this point. Like, he's been just generationally good to start this year. It's fucked. We're going to be trading away Kyle Hurt here, who we're going to sell pretty high on, in my opinion, although this is a good player who only has a year of service, and, you know, and as a starter over the last 2 years, in 36 starts as an ERA, just in the low 4s at 4.35. But we're going to be trading him and Carlos Jorge, who is a waiver claim from Tampa, who himself is an interesting player in the sense that he is a reverse splits guy, a lefty batter who is better against lefty pitching. So I was holding on to him. I was offered him in some trades that we had previously made, but I think the time has come to ship him, and we're going to be sending him to Colorado, along with Hurt, obviously, for catcher Drew Romo, who is a defensive first catcher who hits righties much better than he does lefties. He's a captain, and I don't need him to be a super hitter, but I need him to be a young, cost-controllable, good defensive catcher. And we're going to platoon him with most probably Durazio, but because Trevino's defensive ratings have fallen off and his hitting ratings have too, he's going to be DFA'd this second, unfortunately. Sorry, pal. And Drew Romo is now a strong side of catching platoon with Durazio, switch hitter as well, but I prefer Durazio's ratings versus lefties. But again, versus those lefties, we're going to have Romo as the defensive sub. And again, if Durazio starts, Romo can come sub in. However, I'm going to set a strategy that he is not available if he's tired or day-to-day injury. So that is an interesting little trade. I love myself some Drew Romo in real life. I think he's a very good player, honestly, and I'm excited to get him, and I'm pretty sure that's going to help out our team longer term as a long-term stopgap catching option. Pitching-wise, however, we have to call up a fifth starter who is available to pitch today, although, in a pinch we can use Davis Martin if we need. So let's see all pitchers. Who are we going to call up here? I signed a Chris Sanchez in the preseason to a minor league deal. I think he's going to be the one. He looks pretty good, a ground baller, another lefty, and he is not rested enough, though, so we're going to give Davis Martin this start, and we're going to click next day. We win 7-0. Okay, Davis, 6 1/3 with 1 hit and 9 Ks, no big deal. But now we're going to put Chris Sanchez in as the 5 and move him back to his long relief, middle relief, avoid high leverage. And that is that. That is an interesting trade we've just made, as we are 1 game back of the first place Twins and half a game of the second game Guardians. 4 games over 500 here in the middle of May. Another minor league free agent I signed in preseason was DJ LeMahieu, who's going to get the call after hitting unbelievably well in AAA for us this year. I've sent down Wes Clark as he was hitting very poorly. So you're going to see LeMahieu slot in as a backup first baseman. And he's going to start versus lefties for us at, I'm not sure whether at first or DH, but he should be a pretty good defensive first baseman as 6'4". Yeah, we'll actually let him start at first here, it seems. Obviously, he's not going to hit that high, and Colson's going to hit there. We're going to go Ke'Bryan, Zavala, LeMahieu, Durazio, Miller, Edman. And then here he's going to be a backup first baseman. Here as well. He's just a good veteran presence. Good personality class. He's old, but he can hit lefties good enough, and he is hopefully going to be a valuable piece of this team down the stretch. Amidst a tough stretch of baseball for us, as we're only 2 games over 500, George Kirby just threw a Maddox, which is pretty fun, a one-hitter on only 99 pitches, lowers his ERA to 2.97. Again, though, really not striking anybody out, which kind of scares me, but I don't know, I trust him. Colson has continued to just be unbelievable. His OPS is still 1.26, like it's closer to 1.3 than 1.2. But we are overall not playing the best baseball I've ever seen. You know, you'll look at the schedule here. The Twins are a ridiculous team, by the way. This team scores a lot. 11, 10, 8. And this game was the most frustrating. Look at the bullpen selling this. We score 6 in the first. We're up 9-2 after the top of the 7th, and we lose 10-9. Crochet gave up 4 in an inning and 2/3, and Nardi gave up 3 without retiring a batter. Really, overall, not a good game. But again, we're only 3.5 back, and we're in a wild card spot, so I'm not too worried. Our peripherals are better than the 2 games over 500, as you can see right here. We're meant to be, in theory, 6 games based on the Pythagorean win-loss. You know, we're 4th in runs, we're 7th in runs against, and we're 1st in defense, although 10th in defensive efficiency, so I don't really know what's going on there. We're striking a lot of guys out. Our FIP is 2nd best. We're getting pretty unlucky defensively, it seems like our BABIPs, our pitcher BABIPs must be fairly high. Yeah, you can see, I mean, a lot of dudes north of 300, north of 330, which is not fun or good, as Sergio Herrera has been pretty dreadful for us, even though his FIP is once again pretty low. But we'll have to hopefully turn this around, get some luck on our side, and, you know, go on another strong second half like we did last season. Drew Romo in the first 10 games for us has been very disappointing, but again, you got to hope time balances that out and he figures his shit out longer term. It is June 22nd. We are a half game out of first behind the Twins, but I'm bringing you back to show you something crazy I just saw. You'll see Braden Montgomery here hit 3 home runs. A 2-run double in the first, a solo shot, a 3-run home run, and a 3-run home run. 9 RBIs, and they lost. What is this game? 15-14, 7 in the bottom of the 9th. It was 14-8 in the bottom of the 9th, and they gave up 7, and they had a guy with 9 RBIs, and they lost? I couldn't even imagine being in this game. How long was this? 4 hours? 4 hours and 15 minutes. Oh my God. Braden Montgomery ties the single game record for homers with Detroit with 3 and sets the Tigers' regular season game record with RBIs with 9, and they lost. All right, I mean, I just wanted to highlight this. Just crazy game. It is June 29th. I don't know why that date specifically is now, because Jesus Reinsdorf, do you think it's Jesus? Do you think Jerry Reinsdorf really thought enough of his son to name him Jesus, or is it Jesus? Because Reinsdorf is not like a Spanish last name, right? If it was like Jesus Garcia, maybe I would get it, but it's just we're going to go with Jesus. Anyways, Jesus Reinsdorf, W tangent, has given us our mid-season review of his goals. He's upset that we're in first, and he hopes for a better second half push. Okay. He didn't expect Louis Bob to already be a top 6 center fielder, even though he was a top 6 center fielder last year and won an MVP 2 years ago, as Nate Pearson pumps 99 past Jackson Chourio for his 3rd strikeout of the inning. No big deal. He wants me to bring up more draftees. We have 0, so I agree. He wants me to improve fan interest and the lack of extra inning wins. So, but he's happy. So, Jesus is happy, so I'm happy. Moving on, the top 100 prospects. I don't know why they do it on June 29th, but they're updated, so we'll take a look at those. Number 10 is Dean Moss, who was the 12th overall pick 2 years back. Dylan Cruz, who's now 25 and still has not cracked the big leagues, is somehow still there at number 9. Samuel Basayo, who is now 22 and also has not even cracked AAA, is number 8. Andres Agnon, the guy I wanted this offseason, is number 7. He looks amazing. The Reds also have number 6, who they signed 2 offseasons ago, in Sergio Aristando. Number 5 is the 1st overall pick from last year, Curtis Yunker on the Giants. 4 is Ernan Rafer on the Rockies. They have another Filipino crazy contact hitting international free agent whom they signed this past offseason to go with, the number one prospect. But in between them is third J.P. Jenkins, the fourth overall pick from last year to the Yankees. He looks pretty good. I don't know about top 4 prospect good, but he looks like he'll be a very good player. And number 2 is Grady Emerson on the Nationals, who was the third overall pick last year. But of course, number 1 is Andre Luis Pabelo, the Filipino international student signee, who looks pretty good himself. Furthermore, as we are in first, we are now a game and a half up on the Twins. We just won 13-2 over the lowly Royals, and in that game, Colson Montgomery had 8 ribbies. Remember Braden Montgomery's 9 ribby game where they lost? Well, how's an 8 ribby game where you win? Much more fun, huh? He has continued on his pretty crazy pace, although his June was definitely lagging behind relative to other months. I mean, he did put up a 1,200 OPS in both April and May, and only a 913 in June. Very disappointed in him. No, he's on pace for 143 runs and 147 ribbies and 60 homers and a 1.1 OPS, so that's pretty good. Pitching-wise, our team's been pretty interesting recently. Kirby has really been consistently great. Springs has been really good recently. Herrera has been pretty good recently. Nestrini's been kind of hit or miss, to be honest. And we literally have 2015 Drew Hutchison as our 5th starter and Christopher Sanchez, who's 3-1 with a 7 ERA and a 7 FIP. Can't explain that one. Admittedly, his recent game log has looked a lot better than the first few games he had with us, where he gave up 16 runs in 7 2/3 innings, including 7 homers. So that wasn't great. But yeah, that's a little update. We're now first in OBP in the AL and base running and FIP and zone rating and errors. It's a pretty good all-around team, all things considered, in my opinion, as Anthony Gutierrez, I'm just noticing, is jumped up our prospect ranks thanks to the new updated top 100 prospects, and Julio Serrano has really fallen. Ooh, yeah, well, we knew this was going to happen. He was never going to fill out to a 90 stuff starter. That's just unrealistic. But again, even if he can become this, and I think he can because of the high work ethic, maybe 70 stuff, that would still be a mid to top end rotation starter for us. So we'd love that. Sorry for the bump. And Gutierrez has really begun to look very good. He probably makes the big leagues this year, if not next year. We've been, again, super lucky with injuries. I don't know how or why. Our team trainer, Sue Falsone, is really good, but not like generationally good. But we haven't really had a need to call anybody up, which, I'm knocking on wood there, that I don't want to have to call anybody up. But yeah, there's a little update. Here's what CJ Sampson looks like. He's pitching very well in A-ball, but not hitting well. Anyway, there's that update. You'll see me next for the draft, and then we'll do that, and I'll wrap this episode up. Well, you'll see me before the draft because we have an injury to report on, and it's Garrett Crochet with an elbow strain for about a week and a half. I'm not going to chance with this thing. I'm just going to put him out of the IL, and we're going to call up Chase Lee. And I already know what I'm going to do with this bullpen work right here. We're going to go Uribe into middle relief with a specialist secondary. Nardi into the stopper role with high leverage. And Chase Lee into the righty specialist. And that is it. I mean, not a great piece of news there, but thank God it's not a long-term elbow injury. We are here at the first-year player draft, and stop me if you've heard of this before, but Colson Montgomery is very hot. Oh, look, 5 more games with a home run and a walk. Like, I don't even know what to say about this guy anymore. 9 games in July, he's hitting 500 with a 1,600 OPS. I'm speechless. He's leading the league in homers, ribbies, OBP, WAR, runs, OPS, slugging, total bases, ISO, OPS plus, win probability added, extra base hits, WOBA. What the fuck? I can't believe that he's continued on this pace of 1,100 OPSing, almost 1,200 OPSing, halfway into the year. It's just bonkers. He's already at 5.8 WAR. He's on pace for 10. Like, there's no way. Anyways, as crazy as that is, we, as a result of him and the rest of the team kind of getting hot as well, are playing pretty good baseball, as you can see there, and we are 5.5 games up on the second place Guardians. Our Pythagorean record has begun to normalize a little bit, and kind of similarly to what we did last year, we're playing very hot down the, at least, end of the first half. Hopefully we can carry this into the second half, as we're 23-11 in our last 34 games. But again, we are here at the first-year player draft. We will take a look at the first 5 picks together, and then I will skim to ours. This seems to be an okay draft class. I'm not sure yet. A lot of 5-star players. Holy shit. Holy. Okay. This is the first year of fully generated players, I believe. And you can see what that does for the game. And it is fun to have all these good generated players coming in. So let's take a look at who Colorado takes first overall. Should be a pitcher. And it is David Trevino. I'm not exactly sure why they'd call a pitcher Johnny Barrels, especially one whose name is David, but there you have it, folks. The first overall pick in 2027 is starter David Trevino. Second overall, we got Washington, and they take Rafael Islava, who also looks pretty unbelievable as a starter. If Tampa is anything like Tampa, they're going to take a starter. They do not. They take Danny Lemons, who they call Egg. Danny Lemons looks really good, and he's already fairly developed for an 18-year-old. Wow. So in theory, if I was them, and I had drafted him, I would be checking if he can play in Carolina League relative stats, and wow, can he ever at 18. This guy might be a monster for them. Fourth overall, Kansas City takes Jorge Rivera, who looks really good himself and almost major league ready. Of course, he's 23, so it makes sense. That's a pretty good pick, I think. And the shitty-ass Yankees. Let's hope they take a shitter here. They did not. They took one of the better players in the class. Nice. Juan Nava looks just ridiculous at 22. He's an older pitcher out of the draft, but he looks like he's going to be insane. So, yeah, that's the first 5. I will see you guys at our pick with who we're taking. So, this by far is the best draft class we've had yet, and does it have something to do with the fact that I play with my settings on development target much younger and aging target much older with the development speed up, because that's how you should play the game? Yeah, for sure. I want more good players in the majors in 2035, because otherwise there just are not enough good players. Anywho, this is a ridiculous draft class. Like, this is significantly better than usual, and once you get into the future, which I'm not complaining about, I'm going to be drafting Bob Adams, who looks like he could be fantastic and is already ready to play A-ball now. He is a 6-pitch starter, sidearm righty, who could have good control, great home run suppression, and very good stuff as well. I'm not even going to overthink it. He wants below slot. Like, he just seems perfect. And then I will see you for our second round pick in a second. Man, this is a guy I was considering taking in the first round. I'm shocked he fell. I understand there's still a million good players here in the second round. Obviously, because it's baseball and, it doesn't work out well that not all these players are going to fill out or even close. But Jeff Ginn is one of them that I think, if not filling out, he could surpass. He is about the perfect personality class. I read this, always working on his game mechanics, looking to improve, and I love it. He looks like he could be a plus defender at third, a plus base runner, and a plus hitter. And he wants a $190,000 bonus demand. Yes, please. That is looking good. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy I was considering in the first round as well, and he's here in the third round. He wants a lot of money, but we've just saved a lot on the first 2 picks. So Josh Skeen is a member of the organization as well. Yeah, I'll decide who we're taking in the 4th, and I'll see you then. Disappointingly, I wanted to take Harrison Kerrigan. He looks like he could be just an all-around really good hitter with a great personality, but you'll notice his signability is impossible, which means I could draft him, but I would probably have to give him like $15 million, and I just do not care enough to. So we're going to do a weird thing, and I'm going to take a reliever in the 4th round. He has great personality class. A sidearmer is so weird for someone who throws fastball changeup to me. Like, I don't feel like that's going to affect handedness differently, just using logic. He's fragile, so there's risk here, but he's a little pet project for me. I want to just see if I can develop that fastball and that changeup and give him some extra velo. Like, could this be the next great reliever? Probably not. It's the MLB draft and he's a high school arm. But is it possible? Is it feasible? Sure. So that is who I took in the 4th. And in the 5th, we will be taking... I'm not sure. I will see you in a second. I'm going to show you something hilarious to me. So I'll tell you who we're taking first. It's going to be Kevin Donovan. Again, another fragile player, but his ratings look kind of like a lesser version of this Harrison Kerrigan guy. Again, great personality, fine defense, good hitting stats. But who do you think our scout would recommend us to take? Noah Malone. Okay, a 21-year-old college center fielder out of FIT. Sure. Sure, let's see how he looks. What? This is my scouting recommendation? The worst personality possible. Not a great fielder, not a good runner, and just dreadful hitting ratings. 1-star potential, half-star overall, who needs a kick in the rear. And this is who my scouting director is recommending me take? What? I'll be taking Kevin Donovan. Let's find out together if our scout continues to be retarded here. No, he wants me to take Butch Guadalupe here. 80 grade name. It might have to happen, but I don't think so. Anyways, I will see you guys at the end of the draft, as you've seen the first 5 rounds. Shout out Dave Kessel. Everyone that was drafted has been offered their exact bonus demand, except for Prince Bangura, who I drafted as an impossible player in the 11th round, hoping his budget wasn't, or his demand was not 10 million. There's no way to know. It's an 11th round pick, whatever. Of these, the only guy who was extremely hard was 4-star Chris Butler, the American-Israeli right fielder, although he's got a great personality and good enough hitting ratings. I've also drafted a bunch of other folks who will be in our minor league system already, which you'll be able to see here. Let's highlight one of them, Dom Bennett, 18th round pick, reliever. Why not? Doug Trevino, 12th round pick, reliever. And these guys are set to their development already. The ones who I've drafted who automatically become your minor league system, the ones I cared about at least, are already set. And I will manually set, of course, these guys once I see them and they've signed. But that is going to be the end of this episode. I appreciate y'all checking it out. We are 16 games above 500, 5.5 games in the lead in the AL Central in 2027. So next time will be the second half and the playoff push, and then after that, if we make it, it will be the playoffs. So yeah, be excited. Done though.